So do you remember back in, I think it was the January meeting, or it might have been the March meeting, we played Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do you remember that? And the theme of that quiz was to learn about the NHS services and to learn that there's actually lots more things out there to help you than just going to A&E, because A and E doesn't stand for anything and everything. It's accident and emergency. Exactly, thank you Sarah for that. So I'm just going to do a very quick presentation. We'll just recap what we went through in the Millionaire quiz, but then there's some themes that are more related to the hot weather, the sun, the sunshine, keeping cool, keeping safe, and so on. So as you can see, this is part of a campaign called Together We Can Choose Well. And I think you've all been given a water bottle. Oh, well, you need to get one if you haven't. They're at the back of the room. And it says on, Together We Can Stay Healthy. There's a website. If you go on the internet, you can type it into Google or any search engine. Together We Can, NHS, and there's lots and lots of information and answers to your questions. There's all sorts of really good information on there. So I'll turn this on. That would help if I turned it on. That's it. So together we can stay healthy this summer. So whilst the warm summer weather is great, but it can cause different health problems which could affect you and your family. So we have some simple tips to help you and your family stay healthy and enjoy the summer. Even though we've had the heat wave, it apparently is going to get warm again. So it's always good to know, and it's good to know for next summer as well. So there's 3 themes. The first one is keep well. So it's really important to drink plenty of fluids and avoid excess alcohol. Keep hydrated. Using insect repellent and sun cream to protect your skin. Using over-the-counter remedies for hay fever and allergies. And slowing down when it's hot. The next theme is keeping cool. So know how to keep your home cool. Dress appropriately for the weather. Go indoors if it's cooler or outdoors, whichever feels cooler. And cars get hot. So again, avoid closed spaces and obviously never leave any animals or pets in the car. The next theme is to keep safe. So be on the lookout for signs of heat-related illness. When you're using a barbecue, be careful around naked flames and make sure that you wash food thoroughly. Cook it really well and keep it chilled because the hot weather can encourage things like bacteria to grow, especially in raw meat, things like kebabs and things. So we'll go into a little bit more detail now. So if you're feeling unwell and you're not sure which service to use, the Together We Can campaign helps you choose the right service for your needs. So there are 6 things really that you can concentrate on. Can you look after yourself through self-care? Can the pharmacy help you? What about NHS 111? If you've got mental health troubles, if you're feeling low or you've got anxiety, you're feeling anxious, there's a whole range of services especially for you. Or somebody that you might know who might be feeling a bit low. Your GP might be able to help you, and then if it's an emergency, a life-threatening emergency, there is the A&E department. So the first one, self-care. Is your first aid kit stocked up? Is it stocked up with things that are relevant to the season? So in summer, keeping hydrated is very important from sunburn. But also, what about making sure that you've got things for bites, grazes? You might be stung by something. If you've got a sore throat, anything, any cream you might need in case you've got sunburn or a blister, something like that. Things like that you should have in your first aid kit. And if you haven't, you can get them from the pharmacy. Now the pharmacies can give you basic advice. So if you go to a pharmacist and you've got a sting or a scratch or something, or a rash, the pharmacist may be able to give you something over the counter that means you don't have to go to your doctor. And the pharmacist might say to you, actually, you do need to see your doctor for this, and in that case you would ring your GP. Things like insect bites, but also tummy troubles and colds. Colds are not just for winter. Quite a lot of people still get cold in the summer. COVID is still around, it hasn't gone away. And of course, lots of tummy troubles. If people have gone to a different country, they've gone on holiday, they may have been barbecuing and not chilled the food properly, they might have drank too much alcohol, lots of tummy ache, more tummy aches in summer than you think. And of course, aches and pains and other things that you would have all year round. So the NHS 111 website or the NHS 111 telephone number will give you urgent medical advice. So rather than ringing 999, you can ring 111. And they will assess you, they'll ask you questions about what the issue is, and they will then advise you whether you need to go to your GP, whether you need to go to the pharmacy or to A&E. For mental health, if you're feeling down and you need someone to talk to, you can call 0800 183 0558 for free confidential help, support, information, guidance. There's always your GP. In the hours that your GP is open, it's not 24 hours, but if it is open, they tend to be open 7 days a week. They do have emergency GPs at the hospital and on a weekend if your surgery isn't open, and again you can call them and ask them for advice, but we'd recommend you ring 111 first and see if they can sort you out before ringing your GP, who may be busy with appointments and might take ages to get back to you. Whereas 111, you'll be speaking to somebody straight away. And the last one, A&E. As we've already said, I made a little joke. It doesn't mean anything and everything, but actually it is for life-threatening emergencies. There was a picture on Facebook the other day which I saw, and I couldn't find it. I wanted to put it up to show you, and it was a line of people at A&E, and it was like this person had sunburn and could have gone to the pharmacy, this person had a sore throat and could have gone to the doctor, and then the person on the floor, it wasn't a person, it was a wreath of flowers, and it said this person should have been at the front of the queue, and because there was all these other people that didn't need to be there. It was a very hard-hitting photograph, and I just wanted to explain that to you, and I wish I could have found it to put it up there, but we might see if we can find it and put it in this presentation after. So choose wisely. I think that's the theme, is don't just go to A&E for anything and everything. So for more advice, visit Together We Can, and again, it's really easy to remember. It's on your water bottle. Keep hydrated and visit Together We Can. So I've just gone into a little bit more detail because I thought you already knew all that because we did that in the Millionaire quiz. So I've taken it upon myself just to give you some more detail. So the first one is quite a common thing that happens in the hot weather, which is heat rash. So heat rash is uncomfortable, but it's usually harmless. Symptoms can include small raised spots, mild swelling and an itchy, prickly feeling. Now there's lots of advice on the NHS website, Together We Can, and it's heat rash and prickly heat. But there's a picture of it there, so can you see? It's when you go all red and prickly. So heat rash is usually caused by excessive sweating. So the sweat glands get blocked, and then the trapped sweat leads to a rash which develops a few days later. So how do you treat it if you get it, or how do you prevent yourself from getting it, sorry. The main thing is to keep your skin cool so that you don't sweat and irritate the rash. Wear loose cotton clothing, lightweight bedding, take cool baths and showers, and drink plenty of fluid to avoid dehydration. And if you are itchy and prickly, apply something cold, such as a damp cloth or an ice pack that's wrapped in a tea towel for up to 20 minutes. Tap or pat the rash, don't scratch it. If you scratch it, you'll make it worse. And don't use any shower gel or cream that has perfume in it. So things like E45, we're not allowed to advertise one particular brand, but the ones that don't have any colour or scent are the best ones. A pharmacist can help you with a heat rash, so if you do have a rash, they will give you advice and they will suggest the best treatment for you. And a pharmacist might recommend some calamine lotion or some antihistamine tablets. Now the next thing that happens quite often, especially with the very, very hot weather that we had, that it was unprecedented, wasn't it? It was 38 degrees, hottest we've had. You may not be used to it and you might get heat exhaustion. So heat exhaustion is a heat-related illness that can occur after you've been exposed to high temperatures. So I want you to learn the symptoms of what to do if you or someone else shows signs of heat exhaustion or heat stroke. Now that's very small, you might not be able to read that actually. But the signs of heat exhaustion is not an emergency and doesn't need medical help if you can cool down within 30 minutes. But if you can't control it and you still feel the same way after 30 minutes, it can turn into heat stroke. Heat stroke is an emergency, okay? So the difference is heat exhaustion includes tiredness, dizziness, headache, feeling sick or being sick, excessive sweating, the skin becoming pale and clammy and getting a rash, cramp in the arms, the legs and the stomach, fast breathing or a fast heartbeat, a high temperature, being very thirsty and feeling very weak. So if someone is showing those signs, then they need to be cooled down and given fluid. So move them to a cold place. Remove any excess clothing, any unnecessary clothing such as socks and shoes or jackets, hats, and give them a drink, preferably a sports drink, something like Lucozade or one of those drinks that's got salt and things in it. Spray them with water or put a cool wet towel on them to cool down the skin, ice packs, anything at all. Don't open the fridge and let them sit next to the fridge because then all the food will go warm. Stay with them until they feel better, okay? And they should start to feel better within 30 minutes. Now, urgent advice, okay? If you can't get them to feel better, if you can't, or if it's yourself, if you don't feel better after half an hour, you can ring 111 if you have heat exhaustion and you're struggling to control. But what they will probably tell you to do is to call 999. So 111 first, tell them you've been like that for half an hour and they'll put you through. Now, if it's a very high temperature, if you've got hot skin but you're not sweating, you look red but you're not sweating, if your heartbeat's really pounding fast, if your breathing's fast, you're short of breath, you're confused, you're lacking coordination, you may have a seizure or a fit, and you may go unconscious. That is a critical emergency, okay? If somebody faints and goes unconscious, and you know that it could be heat exhaustion, you need to put them into the recovery position until the ambulance comes. And that is laid on the side, with a hand under the head, the other hand on the floor and the leg in this position, okay? Not on the back, because if they're on the back, the tongue can go down into the neck and they can choke on themselves, so the face needs to be facing forward. Also, it's very important because if somebody's feeling sick and they vomit Whilst they're unconscious, the vomit has to come out of the mouth and go onto the floor. If it goes into their lungs and they inhale the vomit, they can die from inhaling their own vomit. So it's very, very important. Don't put them face down, put them on the side, with the face facing the floor, with the hand and the leg in this position. Okay, and wait for the ambulance to come. But make sure that you've rang 111 or 999 before you do that. To prevent that from happening, make sure that you keep hydrated. Keep drinking lots of water. Protect your skin from sunburn. Wear appropriate clothing. Avoid excess alcohol, because that dehydrates you, and avoid extreme exercise. So keep hydrated, dress appropriately, and protect your skin from the sun. For some reason, I don't know about you, I know lots of people who don't wear sun cream in the UK. They take loads of it in the suitcase when they go abroad, but when they're at home they don't put it on. It's the same sun and it's in the same sky, it's the same sun rays. You can burn anywhere, not just on holiday, okay? You can also burn when it's cloudy. You know, skin cancer is still one of the main cancers and it's going up all the time. You need to strike a balance. You need to have some sunlight. It's very important for your health to have vitamin D. And vitamin D comes from the sun. You can also get it from things like vitamin tablets and fortified food, such as breakfast cereals and things, but you can get it from the sun. So you need some, but not so much that you end up looking like that person with the bright red skin. So some safety tips is to spend time in the shade when the sun is at its strongest. In the UK, that's between 11 AM and 3 PM, between March and October. Has anyone heard that saying? Mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. There you go. So make sure that you never burn. It's important to never burn. So many people, like my parents who are a different generation who thought you had to look brown all the time, say that I won't get a tan if I wear sun cream, or sun cream stops me getting as good a tan. Well, that's not true. Sun cream stops the ultraviolet rays that burn your skin, that damage your skin and cause cancer. Your body, when it's in the sun, responds by producing chemicals that make your skin go brown. I wear factor 30 every day and I'm outside a lot because I have a small holding with animals and I'm nice and brown, but I don't burn. Very important, don't burn, okay? And wear at least factor 30 sunscreen. So, I answered my own question. Which factor sunscreen should I use? It's very important. Did you know sunscreen goes out of date? I didn't know that till a few years ago. They usually have on the back of the bottle, like it'll say 12M, which means 12 months. If you bought it last summer and you used it on holiday and you brought it back and there was that much left in the bottom, the chances are that it might be out of date and it won't be as effective. So throw it away and buy a new bottle, okay? And don't spend any longer in the sun than you would without sunscreen, okay? Wear suitable clothing, as I've already said, and it must be at least a 4-star UVA. Now, do you know what the difference between UVA and UVB protection is? No? Oh, good, at least we might learn something then. So, that's quite small actually. So UVB, there's two types of sun ultraviolet rays that come from the sun. There's the ultraviolet A and the ultraviolet B. Now, just anecdotally, we used to say A means aging and B means burning. Now, I'm not a doctor and I don't know if that's true, so please don't quote me on that, but it was always the way that I used to remember it. A ages your skin and B burns your skin. It makes sense, but it's really important that your sun cream has ultraviolet A and ultraviolet B protection in it. The cheaper ones that you get from some pound shops and things, sometimes they're only like UVA, but not UVB, you need both. So the SPF, which is the sun protection factor, starts at number 2 and goes up to number 50. 50 is the strongest, and 2 is the lowest, obviously. And that protects against the UVB, stuff that burns you. And then you'll see on the bottle there's also stars. And the stars go from 1 to 5. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. And the star rating is how good the cream is at stopping the ultraviolet A rays. Okay, so you need SPF 30. That means you can stay in the sun for 30 times longer than you would without the cream. Because if you burn after 1 minute, normally, that means you should have 30 minutes protection. But you mustn't wait for 30 minutes to reapply it. You need to put it on sooner than that because it might wear off quicker. So keep lathering it on, especially if you've got fair skin. And make sure it's got a 5-star UVA protection. So this thing, I took this off the NHS from a few years ago. In the past 10 years, skin cancer in the UK, skin cancer rates in the UK have increased by 59% in men and 36% in women. So the campaign they used to have was called Cover Up Mate. Put a hat on it if you've got a bald head, or put your cream on your hat. You must put cream on twice if you know you're going out. Put it on 30 minutes before you go out and just before you go out, because it has to soak in. And there's no point going out without it on, getting on your lounger, putting your towel, get your book, get me drink, get your pina colada. Right, now I'm going to put my cream on. Who does that? No? Well, yeah, I used to do it. You lather it on yourself, let it soak in, then go out. Okay, that's the best way. It should be applied to all the exposed skin. Don't forget the tops of your ears, the back of your head, gentlemen, if you're thinning on top. And ladies, if you have a parting like here, make sure you rub it into your parting, because that's the bit you'll burn, and the sun can go through you. I know it'll make your hair greasy, but it's better than burning your head. Or put a hat on. Again, if you've been in the water, even though it says water resistant, it still can not be as effective as it was before you went in the water. So keep putting it on, and if you've been in the sun for a few hours, put more on, because the sun can actually dry it off your skin. If you do get burned, you would probably look in your own first aid kit first, and if you don't have something at home, you would go to your pharmacist and ask them to give you something. You sponge it with cool water, and then either some after sun or some aloe vera. So you look at that plant, that's the aloe vera plant. If you were to snap one of those leaves, inside is like a clear gel, and that's a natural, it's anti-inflammatory, and it actually really does help. We've got a little story to tell you actually. We went to Benidorm a few years ago, and on the balconies of our hotel, there were all these aloe vera plants. And I've got really bad burnt shoulders because I'd been silly. I drank too much alcohol and not reapplied my cream. And it was so sore. So I got one of these plants and I snapped it off. And I squeezed it and I rubbed it all over myself, and the next morning it cleared up. It is fantastic. So please don't burn, but if you do, try and find some aloe vera gel or something that will really, the natural plant that helps you. If you've got blisters or swollen skin, you can seek medical advice again by ringing 111 or your pharmacy. You can't read that either, but this will be all on our website for afterwards. But if you've got pale or light skin, or you've got moles, lots of moles, or you tend to tan or burn, so you tend to burn rather than tan, or if you've got a family history of skin cancer, it's very important that you take extra care in the sun, okay? People with naturally brown or black skin are likely to get less likely to get skin cancer, because darker skin does have some protection, but cancer can still occur even when you have brown skin. And the most important thing as well, if you have moles, you must protect them, okay? Avoid going out in the sun, direct sun, without being covered up if you've got lots of moles like on the picture. And it's important to check for a new condition. So if a mole gets bigger, if it starts to itch, if you get lots of new moles that look different to the others, your doctor will always be happy to help. In the COVID, what they've been doing is video calls where you show them. My daughter goes out in the sun a lot, and she has lots of these on her back. And during COVID, she rang the doctor and she went on a video call and she showed them. And then he referred her to the skin people at the hospital at Calderdale Royal last summer. And they actually cut 2 of them out. And they just, like what you do with a potato, they just twisted it, pulled it out, sewed it up, just to be safe and sorry. And she's only 25, so, you know, it's not that she's old or anything, but they looked at it and said, yes, I'd rather have that out. And it was done within half an hour. But it's very, very important that if you have lots of moles, that you look after them, cover them up, and keep your eye on them. And that's it. So thank you for listening. I'm not a doctor. I only read out what I've researched myself from reading what's on the NHS website. So none of that was my words. So if you've got things you need to know, I can't really answer your questions, but together we can. NHS, heatwave, stay well, together we can.